Someone at this exact moment has your photo in their hands, and this person is not looking at you with good intentions. It could be someone from your work. It could be someone who sits beside you at Sunday lunch. It could even be someone you consider a friend. But this person took an image of yours and is directing negative energy against your life, against your health, against your family. And do you know what is worse? You are already feeling the effects of it. That pain in the body that has no medical explanation. That tiredness that does not pass even after sleeping 10 hours. That sensation that everything is stuck, that your life has stopped, that money vanishes, that doors close one after another. If you are feeling at least one of these things, stay here with me until the end, because God will use this video to reveal to you exactly who is doing this, why they are doing it, and what you need to do now to break this chain. I know what I am saying may seem strong, but pay attention to one thing. You did not click on this video by chance. No one clicks on content like this out of empty curiosity. You clicked because something inside you recognized the truth even before hearing it. And this is a clear sign that the Holy Spirit is operating in your life at this moment. So do not leave. Do not close this screen, because what comes next can completely change the trajectory of your family. And I need to ask you a question before continuing. Have you felt that your luck has turned? That for some time now things have simply stopped working? You do everything right, you dedicate yourself, you work, you pray, but the results do not appear? As if there were an invisible hand holding back the blessings that should reach you? Keep this sensation, because it is the central piece of everything I am going to reveal to you today. Let us begin with what you are feeling in your body. I want you to pay attention now to the last 30 days of your life. Have you felt frequent headaches, mainly in the late afternoon? Have you been waking up in the middle of the night, between 2 and 4 in the morning with a racing heart for no apparent reason? Have you had recurring nightmares, strange dreams with people who have already died, with dirty water, with snakes, or with falls? Have you felt a pressure on the back of the neck, a weight on the shoulders that does not leave with massage, with medicine, with anything? If you answered yes to at least 2 of these questions, this is not a clinical coincidence. This is a spiritual pattern that has a name, has an origin, and has a solution. Science already proves that the human body is a bioelectrical system. Each cell of your body emits and receives electromagnetic frequencies. Researchers from the HeartMath Institute in California have already demonstrated that the electromagnetic field of the human heart can be detected more than 3 meters away. This means that you are constantly emitting and receiving energetic information. And when someone directs negative thoughts, envy, hatred, or any form of curse against you, especially using an image of yours as a focal point, this energy finds a direct path to your field. And the first place where it manifests is in the body. A study published in the journal Frontiers in Psychology showed that people who felt like targets of social hostility presented elevated inflammatory markers in the blood, even when the hostility was silent, indirect. In other words, your body reacts to what is directed against you, even if you do not consciously know you are being attacked. It is as if the organism had its own antenna, picking up signals that the rational mind cannot process. And in Brazil, where personal relationships are intense, where neighbors know about each other's lives, where work colleagues coexist daily in tight spaces, this type of projection is infinitely more frequent than we imagine. Now think with me. When was the last time you felt truly light? When was the last time you woke up in the morning with the will to live, with energy, with mental clarity? If it has been a long time since that happened, I need to tell you something with great seriousness. There is a spiritual war happening around your life, and this war has a specific target, your family. Because when the enemy wants to destroy a home, he does not start with the house. He starts with the person who spiritually sustains that house, and that person may be you. That was why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, the Manual of the Chosen by God to Protect the Family. This material is not just any self-help book. It was built for those who feel in their chest that they carry a responsibility that goes beyond the visible. For those who perceive that in some way they are the spiritual pillar of their own family, even if no one recognizes it out loud. Thousands of people have already accessed this content and reported real transformations. Restored nights of sleep, healed relationships, unlocked financial prosperity. A woman from Recife wrote to me saying that 3 days after applying the teachings of the manual, her husband, who had been distant for months, returned home asking for forgiveness. This is not theory. This is the power of God acting through the right knowledge at the right time. The link to access is here in the description of the video and also pinned in the comments. But hurry, because this material may go offline at any moment. And if you have reached this point in the video, leave the word protected here in the comments, so I know you are firm on this journey. Now let us go deeper, because what I am going to reveal to you now is something that few people have the courage to speak about. When someone uses your photo to direct negativity against you, this person generally does it moved by one of 3 motives: envy of your position, resentment for something that happened in the past, or fear that you will grow beyond them. And here is the detail that will impress you. In most cases, this person smiles at you. They hug you. They praise you in front of others. But behind the scenes, they feed a feeling that corrodes from within, and this feeling transforms into spiritual action, conscious or not. Have you noticed that there are people who, every time you tell of an achievement, good news, something that is going right, soon after something goes wrong in your life? You tell that you received a raise, and the next day, the car breaks down. You say you are happy in your relationship, and a fight starts out of nowhere. You announce a new project, and your health declines. This is not bad luck. This is the fat eye operating in frequency. And the Bible speaks about this in a very clear manner. In Proverbs chapter 23, verse 6, it is written that we should not eat the bread of him that hath an evil eye, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. In other words, the Word of God already alerted us that the thought of a person has real power over the reality around them. Now perhaps you are wondering, but how do I discover who this person is? How will God reveal this name to me? And it is here that things get even deeper. God is not going to send you an email with the name of the person, but he is already showing you in ways that you have not yet learned to interpret. You know that dream you had with a specific person and woke up with a strange feeling, an anguish in your chest. You know that intuition that someone is not who they seem to be, even if everyone says that person is good. You know that discomfort you feel in the presence of someone, as if your entire body contracted. All of this is spiritual language. All of this is God speaking directly to your deepest perception. The problem is that most people ignore these signs, and by ignoring them, they remain vulnerable. I will give you a practical key now. In the next 7 days before sleeping, say a simple prayer. Ask God to show you clearly who is working against your life, but pay attention. When the name comes, and it will come, do not react with hatred. Do not react with revenge. React with wisdom. Because the Bible teaches that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. This means that the person may even be the instrument, but the true origin is spiritual. There is a detail I need to explain to you here, because it changes everything. When God reveals the name of who acts against you, he does not do it so that you take revenge. He does it so that you understand the battlefield. Imagine a general who does not know where the attack is coming from. He cannot defend himself. He keeps running from one side to the other, reacting at random. But when he identifies the position of the enemy, everything changes. He can position himself, he can protect himself, he can react with strategy. It is exactly this that revelation does in your spiritual life. Many people ask me, but what if the person acting against me does not even know they are doing it? And this is a very important question, because the truth is that not every negative projection is conscious. Sometimes the person feels envy, feels anger, feels resentment, and these emotions transform into directed energy without them planning it. They look at your photo on social media, see that your family is happy, see that you achieved something, and inside them a feeling is born that they do not even name. But this feeling has power, and it travels to you, and it is exactly for this reason that protecting your home requires more than goodwill. It requires applied spiritual knowledge. It requires understanding how forces operate, how they manifest in daily life, and how to neutralize them with authority. That was why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, the Manual of the Chosen by God to Protect the Family. Inside, you will find specific spiritual shielding prayers, the signs that confirm someone is acting against your house, and the practical steps to re-establish God's covering over each member of your family. The link is in the description and in the comments. Do not leave it for later. He who postpones the call loses the window. Let us continue, because now I need to tell you about something that will connect everything you have heard so far. There exists a spiritual mechanism that most people are unaware of. When someone projects negative energy against you, using your image as a reference, this projection does not act only upon you. It creates what we can call an interference field around your entire family. And this field manifests in very specific ways. The first sign is family disunity. Suddenly, people who always got along begin to fight for small reasons, discussions because of money, because of domestic tasks, because of things that before were resolved in 2 minutes. If in your house the atmosphere has become heavy, if it seems that everyone is irritated at the same time, this is not day-to-day stress. This is contamination of the spiritual field of your house. The second sign is financial blockage. You work, you strive, you do everything right, but the money does not yield. Bills appear out of nowhere. Unexpected expenses arise every week. Opportunities escape at the last hour. A recent survey by Serasa showed that more than 77 million Brazilians have overdue debts. And although there are obvious economic reasons, there is something that statistics do not measure: the spiritual dimension of the financial block. When the energy of your house is compromised, prosperity finds no open door to enter. The third sign, and perhaps the most painful, is the emotional distancing between husband and wife, between parents and children. That connection that existed begins to dissolve without apparent reason. Conversations become superficial. Affection diminishes. Silence occupies the place of affection. And many times both sides suffer from this, but neither of the two understands what is happening. It is as if an invisible barrier had been placed between the people who love each other most inside that house. If you are living any of these situations, I need you to understand one thing with absolute clarity. You are not going crazy, you are not exaggerating, and it is not your fault. There is a spiritual action happening against your family, and the first step to defeating any enemy is to recognize that he exists. And here an important alert is fitting. Many people, when they hear about spiritual warfare, think of horror movies. They think of exaggeration. They think this is something for fanatical people. But spiritual warfare is not a movie. It happens in the silence of daily life. It happens in that discussion that starts out of nowhere between you and your spouse, in that insomnia that consumes you, in that plan that always goes wrong at the last minute. The weapons of this war are invisible, but the damages are absolutely real. And he who does not recognize the battlefield fights his whole life without knowing who he is fighting against. Now I want to tell you a story that will illustrate exactly what I'm saying. A woman from Goiânia, 42 years old, a public school teacher, sought me out a few months ago, completely desperate. She told me that in the last 2 years, her life had crumbled. Her marriage was destroyed. Her teenage son had entered depression. She herself was taking medicine for anxiety, and even so could not sleep. She had gone to doctors, to psychologists, to every kind of professional, and nothing truly resolved it. When she began to apply the principles of spiritual protection, the first thing that happened was a dream. A vivid, clear dream, where she saw the face of a neighbor who always went to her house to drink coffee. In the dream, this neighbor held a photo of her and murmured words she could not understand. When she woke up, she felt a certainty in her chest that she had never felt before. And from that day on, she took spiritual measures. She did not confront the neighbor. She did not fight. She did not make a scandal. She simply applied what she learned. In 40 days, her husband became affectionate again. Her son began to improve in school. She stopped taking medicine to sleep. And the neighbor? She moved away on her own. Because when God's covering is re-established over a house, those who had bad intentions cannot bear to stay near. This story is not an exception. I receive reports like this every week, from ordinary people, Brazilians from all regions, who were living situations similar to yours, and who found the turning point through correct spiritual knowledge. And it is here that I need to be very honest with you. If you reached this point in the video, if you heard all this and felt something moving inside your chest, this is confirmation. You are not here by chance. This video reached you because there is a purpose being activated in your life now, and ignoring this call has consequences, not because God will punish you, but because the window of spiritual protection does not stay open forever. There is a time to act, and that time is now. That was why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, the Manual of the Chosen by God to Protect the Family. This material will give you everything you need to identify the sources of spiritual attack against your house, to raise a barrier of protection that no negative projection can cross, and to restore the harmony, health, and prosperity that were stolen from your family. Access the link that is in the description of the video and pinned in the comments. Each day that passes without this protection is one more day of vulnerability for those you love. Now let us talk about karma, because this word appears in the title of this video, and I need to explain to you what it means within a broader spiritual context. Karma, in its essence, is the principle of cause and effect applied to the spiritual dimension. The Bible expresses this principle directly in Galatians chapter 6, verse 7, "Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap." In other words, he who plants evil against you will reap evil in his own life. This is not revenge, this is spiritual law. When someone takes your photo and directs hatred, envy, or any form of negativity, this person is setting in motion a gear that will return against themselves. But here is the crucial point that most do not understand. Karma only completes itself when the victim frees themselves from the chain. While you continue carrying the weight, while you continue suffering the effects without taking a spiritual attitude, the cycle remains stuck. The other person continues sending, you continue receiving, and no one is freed. And do you know what keeps this cycle spinning? Ignorance, not ignorance in the pejorative sense, but the lack of specific spiritual knowledge. Most people do not even know they are trapped in this cycle. They think life is just like that. They think suffering is normal. They think a good family is a family that fights, that money is for the few, that health is a matter of genetics. But when you understand the spiritual laws that govern these areas, everything changes perspective. You stop being a passive victim and become an active agent of your own protection. I know a gentleman from Minas Gerais, 63 years old, retired, who spent his whole life thinking he was unlucky. He told me that since he was young, everything he tried went wrong. He opened 3 businesses, all failed. He married twice, both marriages ended. His health worsened with the years, and he accepted everything as destiny, until the day he understood it was not destiny. It was direction. Someone very close to him, since his youth, fed a deep resentment and projected this against him constantly. When he did the spiritual work of identification and protection, his life changed at 63 years old. It is never too late when God decides to act. That is why spiritual action on your part is so important. When you protect yourself, when you raise God's covering over your house, 2 things happen simultaneously. First, you shield yourself against new attacks. Second, the karma returns naturally to the one who originated it, without you needing to do absolutely anything against that person. God takes care of that. Divine justice operates in His time, not ours. But I need to alert you about a very grave error that many people commit. Some people, when they discover they are being attacked spiritually, react with anger. They want to hit back. They want to do to the other what was done to them. And this is the greatest error that exists, because the moment you enter the game of retaliation, you leave God's covering. You cease to be protected and become a participant. And then, the cycle never ends. The correct answer is always the same: protection, not revenge; shielding, not attack; wisdom, not impulsiveness. And it is exactly this that separates those who live free from those who spend their whole lives trapped in chains they never understood. Now I want to leave you with something practical that you can do today, now at this moment. Before sleeping, set aside 10 minutes. Go to a quiet place in your house. It could be the bedroom, it could be the living room after everyone has slept. Close your eyes and say the following prayer in your own words, but with this intention. Lord, I recognize that there is a spiritual battle around my life and my family. I ask that you reveal who is acting against us, not so that I may take revenge, but so that I may protect myself. cover my house, my children, my marriage, my finances, and return to the origin all evil that was sent against me, not as my punishment, but as your justice. This simple prayer, made with true faith, has the power to begin undoing spiritual knots that have been tied for months, sometimes for years. But attention, prayer without knowledge is like a soldier without armor. He has courage, but he is exposed. That is why deepened spiritual knowledge is indispensable. And I want to give you one more teaching before closing, because this is fundamental. After you identify who is acting against you, the next step is not confrontation. The next step is the sealing of your house. To seal the house spiritually means to create a covering of protection that prevents any external projection from penetrating the environment where your family lives. The ancients already did this. In the biblical tradition, the people of Israel themselves sealed the doors of their houses with blood before the last plague in Egypt. The destroying angel passed over the sealed houses. He passed over. Because spiritual protection is real, tangible, and effective when done with knowledge and faith. And do not think this is a thing of the past. Today in Brazil, in the middle of the 21st century, millions of families live in spiritually open houses, without any covering, without any protection, vulnerable to any type of projection, envy, curse, or interference. And then they wonder why peace does not last, why blessings do not arrive, why everything seems so difficult. The difference between a sealed house and an open house is the difference between a fortress and a tent. In the fortress, the storm passes and no one is hurt. In the tent, the first wind takes everything away. And the question that remains is your house today a fortress or a tent? If this video made sense to you so far, I need to ask you two things. First, subscribe to this channel and activate the notification bell, because every week I bring content that will strengthen you spiritually and give you the tools you need to protect those you love. Second, share this video with someone you know is going through a similar situation. Sometimes the person who most needs to hear this message is one screen away. And now to close, I need to tell you one more thing. God did not reveal this video to you to scare you. He revealed it to prepare you, because he who is warned is armed. He who understands what is happening in the spiritual world is not caught by surprise, and he who applies the right knowledge at the right time becomes unshakable. I know that what I shared today is strong. I know that many things moved within you, and it is okay to feel that. The discomfort you are feeling now is not weakness. It is the beginning of transformation. It is the sign that God is moving the structures of your life to reposition everything according to his purpose for you. But I need to be direct. Knowing what is happening and not acting is the same thing as not knowing. Knowledge without action is weight, not freedom. So do not let this moment pass. Do not tell yourself that you will see this later, that you will think calmly, that you will decide tomorrow. Tomorrow the window may have closed. Tomorrow the weight may have increased. Tomorrow the attack may have intensified. This is your moment. This video arrived in your life at this exact instant because God decided that you need this message now. Do not ignore what you are feeling. Do not silence what is screaming inside you. That was why I prepared the powerful digital book for you. The Manual of the Chosen by God to Protect the Family. Everything you need to take the next step is there. Each prayer, each principle, each spiritual strategy tested and proven by thousands of people who have already gone through exactly what you are going through. The link is here in the description of the video and pinned in the comments. Access it now while this fire is burning inside you. Because faith without action is dead faith, and today God is asking you to act. If this message touched your heart, leave the word shielded in the comments. I read each one. And each time someone writes that word, it is one more family entering under the divine covering. One more house being sealed. One more chain being broken. God bless you. We will see each other in the next video.